Hello, my fellow readers. I Dark Symphony 777 with another fan fiction reading. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story, and finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of the world, so please respect that. So, the story I am doing a reading of today, it is Snowfall by Super Mario Bros. Ultimate. It is a Mario fan fiction, and shipping. I'm actually drinking a Baja Cabo Citrus by Mountain Dew as well, and it kind of gave me gas. The author actually asked me to do this reading. He actually, not only that, but he also asked me to do another a review of another story. But more or less, he wanted me to do a reading of this story and a review of another story that he's written at the same time. I said I could just do the story by itself. You don't have to worry about that. It's like, all right, let's do this. Also, I've been sitting on this for a while. But I've been having too much fun playing Fortnite. So yeah. Let's just get to Snowfall. Let's see. Pearl arrives at the Honey High Kingdom to play with her friends as per usual, but is met with unfamiliar blanket. Okay. So this is the rock girl seeing snow for the first time. Alright then. Gonna be a cutesy story. Cold. So cold. Why did I have to come up to this? Pearl just wanted to come up and play with her friends, as she had always done every day for the past week. She always ended up in the Honey High Kingdom and meet up with them in the Club Hive after a quick flight as Bee Pearl. But today, the surface world seemed to have different plans for her. Instead of brown mushy ground, trees with various bright colors, and a yellow ceiling, Pearl trudged through a white ground her feet would sink into with each step. It was so hard to walk, in fact. Everything around her was white. The ceiling, the trees, there was some weird white crystal that appeared to be falling from said ceiling. Why? Was the ceiling shedding? The surface world really is a weird place for sure. Did Pearl take the wrong pipe? No. She swore she got it right. She took the same path she always did, and she could recognize the trees and hives within them. This had to be the Honey High Kingdom. Why is it looking so different today? And why was it so cold? Pearl was no stranger to feeling somewhat cold. The underworld could always get a little chilly at night when the wall crystals go out and everything would get dark. But here, Pearl was so uncomfortably chilly that her whole body was shaking like a rattle. Even her teeth chattered against each other with no signs of stopping. Her own breath even produced a white mist, which certainly distracted her from her discomfort for a second or two when she noticed it. This was a new feeling, for sure. And Pearl certainly found this feeling fascinating. But it stopped it from feeling so uncomfortable. The underworld princess considered turning back and going home. She could probably stand one day without seeing her friends. But she could probably return. But she couldn't see the return pipe from here. She had walked so far from all the whiteness around her seemed to have blended together. So the girl kept walking, shaking rapidly, barely holding herself together, and hoping, begging, that she could find something to warm herself, like maybe a fire flower. Pretty to say they were hot enough to melt glaciers after all, whatever those were. But they were probably really cold. Pearl suddenly heard strings of laughter among the howls of wind and observed a field of honey hiver kids. They looked like they were playing in this white stuff. Some were sliding down hills with huge planks of wood. Others were digging out the stuff like dirt and throwing it at each other. And some others were rolling up the white stuff into massive balls and stacking them on top of each other. What? Why do these kids seem to have been having fun and not bothered at all by the cold? Did honey hivers have some kind of natural immunity to cold? Wait, no, can't be right. Brittany was shivering a little when she was in the underworld at night. It has something to do with the heavy clothes they were all wearing? Well, they did seem to have something similar to rock magic, as these honey hivers were taking this white stuff off the ground and making cool shakes out of it. Didn't Belle say they didn't have magic? Maybe not all honey hivers have, but some do. It didn't make much sense. Pearl got so lost in thoughts that she forgot she was freezing out here. In fact, Pearl no longer felt the strength to continue walking and collapsed to the ground with tears in her eyes. Somebody help me. Pearl? That was the last voice she heard before blacking out. Pearl's eyes fluttered open. The first thing she had met her eyes was a steam of red and orange, and a warm, tingly sensation. Oh, sweet warmth! That was just what the princess needed. It wrapped around her like a warm blanket and a hug from her mother telling her it's gonna be okay. In fact, she looked around her and saw that she was actually wrapped in a warm, deep blue blanket. And to her right, hugging her by her arm, was a certain little nymph that brought her nothing but joy every time she saw her. Hannah, Pearl said with happy tears. Oh, it's so good to see you. Hannah giggled and hugged the strange rock girl. I don't know why I said white girl. I don't know why I said that. The strange rock girl tighter. Oh, good, you're awake. Thank Granby. Pearl turned back and saw Brooke approach her with a cup in hand. In fact, looking around, she was definitely in Brooke's house. Brooke, am I glad to see you too? Brooke passed the cup to Pearl. Drink this. It's warm cocoa. It'll make you feel better. Pearl took a sip of the drink. Oh boy, Brooke was right. Her mouth was instantly soothed by the warmth, wrapping inside like a campfire in her mouth. On top of it being yet another great surface food, tasting so good. Wow, that hits the spot. Thanks, Brooke. Don't mention it. Now then, what were you doing out in the snow without a coat? Scolded the other girl. You're lucky I found you, or you could have lost your game from hypothermia. Pearl took another sip inside. I was just on my way to visit you guys as usual. Then I found everything was white. There's white puffy crystals falling from the ceiling, and it was so cold. How are these other kids out there having fun? But not me. Brooke's face softened up and she frowned. Oh, I'm sorry, Pearl. We should have warned you about this before you came today. About what? Asked the princess. Come to the window. It's time for a new surface world lesson. Pearl got out of her blanket, waved to Hannah, and sat at the window still with Brooke. She pressed her hands against the glass, watching the strange crystals fall. Even though it felt rather cold to the touch, it wasn't enough to discomfort her. So, what is this stuff anyway? It's called snow, answered Brooke. On the surface, we have a system known as the water cycle. It starts when the sun evaporates water from the oceans, causing it to rise up to the sky and form clouds, in a process known as condensation. Duh. Then, once the clouds have accumulated enough water, they start to rain water and droplets back down to the surface of the ocean, and the cycle restarts from there. This cycle serves to keep our community lively, as all living beings, both flora and fauna, require water to survive. That's really fascinating. But what does that have to do with the snow? Pearl asked. I was about to say, well, that's what usually happens. Anyway, clarified Brooke. Oh. In special cases where the air is particularly cold, the raindroplets will freeze into snowflakes and fall down to the surface much slower and more gracefully. It then accumulates into snow on the surface, creating the winter wonderland you see now. Pearl was in awe on how the snow wrapped around the trees and how it fell down so gracefully. It looked almost like the snowflakes were dancing like ballerinas. When she wasn't out in the snow, freezing in the near game over, it was quite beautiful to look at. Another thing to add to our list of surface miracles. Fun fact, Brooke began again. Every snowflake is unique. No matter how hard you look, you'll never find two snowflakes with the exact same shape. Kind of remind me of you, actually. Me? Pearl pointed to herself. How so? You have more in common with a snowflake than you think, Pearl. You're made of crystals, you're very graceful, and you're very unique. Pearl's face flushed. Pearl's face flushed almost as red as her hair. Oh my god, that's a tongue twister. Face flushed. Almost as red as her hair, and she giggled. You really think so? You know it. Hannah would certainly agree. Right on cue, Pearl felt Hannah hang her knee once again. While her smile could not be faltered as long as Hannah was there, she instantly picked up the nymph and held her in her arms. The three sat at the windowsill and watched the snow fall for a little while. Pearl observed as many snowflakes as she could, and Brooke was right. These snowflakes looked alike at all. Some were bigger than others, and some had more elongated shapes. No matter how hard she tried, no two flakes looked the same. The silence was ruined when Brooke was suddenly hit on the cheek by a mound of snow. Yeah! Girls turned over to see Belle standing with a full heavy coat along with boots and a hat wrapped over her antennas. That's what you get for bending the snowfall. No, snowball fight, Brooke, Belle said with a hint of anger along with playfulness, but soft enough to have been seen with Pearl. Oh, hi, Pearl. Belle, why would you do that to Brooke? Brooke, are you okay? Pearl wiped the snow off of Brooke's cheek, only to find her laughing. It's okay, Pearl. It's all in good fun. We call it a snowball fight. She glared at Pearl. Though maybe not indoors next time. Could have broken something. I went inside because Pearl was experiencing hypothermia. Hypothia? She was freezing! Belle said nonchalantly. Only do a double take. Oh. She grew worried and rushed over to Pearl. Are you okay? I'm fine now, but thanks, Belle. Her face fell. Though playing in the snow sounds fun. I wish I could go out there without freezing. A light bulb grew over Brooke's head. I have just the solution. Brooke rushed to the mud room and took out a four-sleeve red coat that looked just like right size for Pearl. Here, Pearl. I wore this coat when I was your age. I kept it for when Hannah gets older. In the meantime, you can borrow it. Really? Thank you, Brooke. Pearl immediately got to gearing up, zippering the coat and putting on the mittens and hat that came with it. Sorry about the extra sleeves. We don't exactly have two sleevers in this kingdom, said Brooke. Pearl flapped her arms and felt the unused sleeves flapping below her. It's fine. Kind of comfy. And probably functional. Let's play! The girls walked outside in the elevator. As it descended, Pearl got the chance to appreciate this cold, white atmosphere that now that she wasn't freezing anymore. She did kind of prefer when things were warmer and a bit more colorful, but this winter wonderland was a spectacle in its own right. She still felt the cold on her face, but her new coat was there to keep her body warm. They reached ground level and ran out of the snowfield. All right, girls, may the snowball fight commence, announced Belle. Pearl, you're on my team. Yay! Pearl rushed over to Belle's snow fort. So how do we play? It's simple. We throw snowballs, and our goal is to hit Brooke while not getting hit ourselves, explained Belle. She grabbed the patch of snow below. To make snowballs, you grab some snow from the ground, you toss and turn them over and over. Pearl watched as Belle turned them between her hands over and over, and the snow got round her. She was even doing this with her second pair of hands to make two at a time. And then, Wahalia! Snowball! Belle presented two near perfectly round snowballs. Pearl grabbed some snow of her own and got to work her magic. The result was a rather large ice cube. How do you do that? Pearl, how do you do that? I don't know. How's this? Belle recoiled. Trying to knock down Brooke. Give her a concussion. Oops. Pearl dropped the ice cube. Try again. This time, no rock magic. Got it. Pearl grabbed some snow again, this time tossing and turning while consciously not using her rock magic. Her snowball didn't look as good as Belle's, but she was still impressed. I look good. Keep on practicing, you'll be unnatural. Now, let's fight. Da-dun. Why did you say that, da-dun? Because it's a symbol for let's get serious. Da-dun. Can I do it? Yeah, go ahead. Yay! Da-dun. It could be better. Aww. Yeah! But now let's fight. Yay! Pearl peeked out from the fort and kept an eye on Brooks. Brooke popped out of the fort and tossed snow straight at Pearl's face. You good? Asked Brooke. Pearl merely licked the snow off her face. Tasted like water. Ha ha! I'm gonna get you back, Brooke. Pearl made some more snowballs, some a little more sloppy than the rest, and peeked out again, throwing snowballs towards the fort. Brooke was now about to throw another snowball when one of Pearl's hit her. I got her! You got me, alright. But I'll still win this. The girls continued to fighting for a while Pearl getting better at making snowballs. It helped that she had Belle at her side. Eventually, Brooke surrendered when Pearl and Belle's combined might was too much for her. Belle's held up her top hand up high. Pearl clapped it. Then she held up bottom hand down low. Pearl tried to clap it, but Belle swept away at the last second. Too slow. Pearl chuckled. Why do I keep falling for that? Brooke wiped the snow off her coat and face. Now, why don't we try something a little less hardcore? A snowman making contest. Pearl, you're with me this time. Okay. Pearl ran up to Brooke. Both are going down. Belle immediately started rolling up snow. Okay. First, we start with a really big snowball. Brooke put together a snowball and began rolling it around across the ground. As it rolled, it got bigger and bigger. Whoa. How are you doing that? As a snowball accumulates more snow from the ground, it increases in mass. Brooke made it so big to the point where she began pushing it. Pearl noticed her strength starting to struggle and began to help her push. Thanks. I think this is enough. So, what's next? Pearl asked in anticipation. Another big snowball, but this time slightly smaller so we can stack it on top of this bigger one. Brooke instructed. Pearl got to rolling up another snowball, keeping an eye on the big one to make sure she doesn't make hers too big. When she felt she got big enough, she rolled the snowball onto the top of the other one. You're natural, praised Brooke. Now we just need one more. same as last time. Pearl rolled up yet another snowball, the smallest one yet, and placed it on top. So now what? Now we start decorating. Brooke went to a nice tree and cut off branches. Then she placed them at the sides of the second excuse me, placed them at the sides of the second snowball. First, the arms. She took off her scarf and placed it around the snowman. Then a nice thread scarf. Well, Brooke got to thinking. Then snapped her fingers. Pearl, you got any spare rocks? Okay, this. All right, grammar. Missing quotation marks right here. Pearl took out some rocks from her bags. Plenty. Perfect. We can use those for eyes and buttons. Care to do the honors? Okay. Pearl placed 2 rocks on the top snowball. Placed 3 more on the bottom 2. Wow, it's starting to look like a person. Yeah, as long as it doesn't come to life and become a Mr. Blizzard, it's all cool. But we can use one more thing. Aha! Pearl. Brooke whispered to Pearl with an idea. That's perfect. Pearl grabbed the snowball and used her rock magic to make it a solid ice ball. Then she placed it between the eyes, but just below to make it look like a nose. Then she squished a bunch of snowballs below it and used the rock magic to shape them into a familiar-looking mustache. And the coup de grace, Brooke took out a certain red hat with an M and placed it on top of the head because of course, you gotta merchandise! Snow Mario, the two said in unison. They turned to see how Belle was doing, and with hers and her snowman could use some work. Its snowballs were very rugged and not even close to smoothness. Gold eyes were sloppily placed, and one of the twin arms was snapped in half. Is Pearl just a good luck charm now? Joked Belle. She could be, she said Brooke with a sly grin. It's okay, Belle. I'll help you next time, the underwater promised. Hey, the girls turned to see Brittany approaching with a wagon full of odd-looking blue suits. In fact, she was wearing one of them. The whole suit was a deep blue, with her arms being huge. Oh my god, she's wearing the penguin suit. I am now picturing a bee in a penguin suit. Adorable. What? The image is so cute. Yeah, her head had a flat yellow brim above it resembling a beak, and her feet were yellow and webbed. Pearl tried as hard as she could to hold back her laughter. Brittany just looked silly. The sound she made when she was walking made it harder. What are you wearing, Brittany? It's a penguin suit. The ideal power-ups for snowy weather like this, explained Brittany. I may look rather silly. Just kick out what I can do. Penguin Brittany got a running start, then jumped into the air and landed on her stomach, sliding across the ground like it was a slide. Pearl stared in awe, while the other girls applauded. I know, it's so cool. I brought some spares if you'd all like some. Belle and Brooke grabbed some penguin suits, and they donned the same suits Brittany had, just with regular clothes placed over them. Come on, Pearl. Try it out, assured Penguin Belle. Pearl grabbed the last suit and let the transformation commence. Brittany took out a mirror so Pearl could see her new form. Her suit was black in place of blue everywhere else the suit had. Much like the bee suit, her hair turned yellow and stuck out from the sides. The beaker above her head was sharper looking, and her dress was laid over her suit where it usually is. Wow. I wasn't expecting this. Wah, 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 said Penguin Pearl as she got a good look at herself. You look awesome, admired Penguin Brittany. Now, how about a race from the top of the hill? Yeah! They all shouted as they climbed up the mountain, preparing themselves for the ultimate race. The top of the hill was reached, and the girls readied themselves. 3, 2, 1, go! Brittany took off, and the others immediately followed. Pearl felt the adrenaline pump her up as her body slid across the snow. They were ordinary slides, and then there was this. What could be more thrilling? Well, her luck started to run out when the other girls began sliding faster than her. That's kind of like, wait a minute. Wouldn't she be the heaviest because she's made out of rock? So, because I know when it comes to like physics, and something that is like heavier will like going down like an incline will go faster because of the weight kind of pushing it down more. So wouldn't Pearl be going faster because she's made of a heavier material, or it could be that because since she's technically hollowed out, it's not as she doesn't weigh as much as she would it will weigh like with the whole with like volcanic rock being like lighter than you think it would be. I'm reading too much in this. Yeah, I'm reading too much in this. Eat my dust, Pearl. Oh, my snow, I guess, taunted Belle. Desperate, Pearl tried to push herself to slide faster, only to trip and start rolling into a huge snowball that got bigger and engulfed the other girls in one fell swoop. Then the snowball crashed into a tree, and the girls fell to the floor dizzy, paralysis lost. That didn't make them just. Didn't take them long to just laugh it off. Real dirty Pearl, teased Belle. I didn't mean to do that. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't fun. Let's do a new challenge. Who can make the best snow angel? Brittany lay down and spread her arms back and forth. Belle and Brooke followed suit. Ooh, that looks fun. Pearl started doing the same as well. The four continued to play together until they tired themselves out. It was a winter wonderful day, and Pearl learned something new about the surface. It was always fun to be had, snow or sunshine. So that is Snowfall. I think it's a very cutesy story. Like it's, I mean, there's not much to it plot wise. Just she's a little snow day. It's it's one of those stories that you just want to read to have fun. I don't have anything wrong with it aside from that grammar error near the end. Where is it? Yeah. Besides this, I think the author forgot to indent this to put this in like its own paragraph and then put the quotation marks. I think that's it. I think. But other than that, I think this is a fine story. It's I would give it a 4 out of 5. It's not it's not drop your head amazing, but it's like for what it's trying to do, it's just a simple little friendship story about them just hanging out. I think that's as good as it can be. So I will see you next time. This has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut.